Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 3G podcast. This is our second edition, and we are actually going in reverse. Our first episode, we went right to talking about Super Showdown. We saw that some people listen, and that's great. We'll hopefully expand this audience. This episode is episode number 2, which probably should be number 1. In episode 2, we're just going to tell you who we are, talk a little bit about ourselves, what our setup here is, and then talk a few things wrestling, like our favorite wrestler and a few other facts and good information to give us some background. So my name is Jim, and although I sound 25, I'm actually 46 years old. I am the father of the two fine gentlemen that are going to introduce themselves momentarily. I've been watching wrestling since I was probably 5 years old, so over 40 years of wrestling for me. I started out watching in the early 80s, watching when Hulk Hogan defeated the Iron Sheik for the then WWF Championship. Over my life, I've been a fan. I've never dropped out of it. I've been through many eras of wrestling. The Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars. These guys don't know a lot about those times, but they have their own experiences, and that's why we think this is a great show, because we all look at it through a different lens and give our perspective on what we think based on what we've seen. I myself have been, I don't even know how many wrestling events I've been to live. Lots of them. I've been to when the WWF used to tape all their superstars and wrestling challenges. I would go to the weekly tapings of those when they came to our area, and they would tape 4 weeks in a row, kind of like what they do with NXT now, to when they started Monday Night Raw. I've been to Monday Night Raw, oh God, at least probably 20 to 30 times, maybe even more. SmackDown about the same time. I actually went to what they called like the proof of concept SmackDown they had in my area, which was really the first SmackDown before it went on TV weekly. I went to that one. I've been to a couple different pay-per-views. Most recently, me and the boys here we went to Money in the Bank together, and we just went to NXT TakeOver 25 Live, which was an absolute great experience. So we're all looking at this a different way. It's going to be great as we move on and get more experience in doing this. So right now, I'm going to turn it to Josh to let him give his little introduction.
All right, great job, Jimmy. So I'm Josh. I'm 20 years old. I want to say I started watching wrestling probably, I would say 2003 or 4, early 2000s. I remember watching guys like John Cena, Edge, Randy Orton, guys like that. So I guess you can call it the Ruthless Aggression era. 2003 or 4. And you went over so much, I don't even know what to say.
Well, maybe one day we'll tell them about the Booker T episode. Maybe not today, though.
That's not a good...
Not today. It's another history thing. And you know what? Maybe it's a good time for that, Josh, because we had to have a little fun on this show, too. So the short story on that is me and Josh and his mom went to a SmackDown live event. And this is when they were doing fireworks. Josh was smaller. He was probably 6 or 7 years old, maybe, Josh?
Yeah, I was pretty... Maybe I was probably a little younger.
And it wasn't very far into the show. And we were waiting, and Booker T came out, and we were sitting pretty close to where the pyro was, and Booker T came out, and he had huge flames come up, if everyone remembers, and that just scared the crap out of Josh, and we left SmackDown within the first hour and didn't go back. So that's a fun memory, and it's one that I usually never let Josh live down, and I thought it would be good to share with the audience.
Yeah, I hear about that every time we go to an event. But yeah, other than that, pretty much the same. Besides the amount of time I've been watching it, I haven't been watching it nearly as long as Jimmy, but...
Well, then you'd be old.
Yeah, so been watching it pretty steadily since I started. There's been a few times where I've maybe taken a break, but other than that, watching it pretty much every week, every pay-per-view, and just been dedicated since then.
I may have the historical knowledge of witnessing a lot, but if we talk about the current day and age of wrestling, Josh is way more up to speed with more of the current happenings throughout all of wrestling, not just WWE. I've kind of stayed with WWE, but I'm expanding my horizons a little bit now too. But overall, current knowledge, I'm going to give it the props to Josh for having more knowledge of what's currently going on.
Yeah, and I also try to get you to watch NXT as much as I can because I think we all agree that's probably the best thing going in wrestling right now.
Absolutely. So now we're going to give it over to Kyle, as we call him the B, and that's a long story that we probably won't tell. So the B, Kyle.
All right, so I'm Kyle. I'm 13 years old, and I think I started watching wrestling around 2012, 2011 maybe. The first event I can remember was the Royal Rumble that Sheamus won, and the reason I started watching wrestling was because of Chris Jericho. I walked in one day and they were watching wrestling, and I saw Chris Jericho, and I saw him wrestle, and I just fell in love with wrestling from then on. And although it seems like I haven't watched a lot of wrestling, I do go back on the network and watch a lot of older events, so I do have a lot of wrestling knowledge. I had the fortunate or unfortunate honor to grow up in the PG era. Some say it's good, some don't. I don't like it, but wrestling is wrestling, so get what you get in the current time.
Another little story about us is we've been to several events together over recent years, and we were the lucky recipients of going to the only Monday Night Raw to ever be canceled because of a bad blizzard. Monday Night, and so some of you may remember this, that it was canceled and they just put on a live like in studio thing that night, and they actually did a live SmackDown that week, and this was before SmackDown Live. They did a live SmackDown instead, which we went to that week. So little historical fact there. We were the only Raw ever canceled. So I don't know if you call that a good thing or a bad thing, but we did get to go to the SmackDown that week, which they aired live.
Yeah, so that's some background information about all three of us. We did all want to mention and make a point that this is our first time ever doing something like this, where we talk for an extended period of time on camera. So we're working out.
So give us a break.
Yeah, working out some blips. So I'm sure with time and as we move on with episodes, it'll go smoother and it seem a little more natural.
Another point too is that we are going to try to record these episodes outdoors, just because it's nice out right now. We'll see how it goes as we move through seasons, but it's nice out. It's kind of, we live in kind of a quiet area, so you may hear some birds in the background. Some every now and then a loud vehicle will go by, and you'll hear some background noises, which, listening back to yesterday's episode, I kind of thought was pretty cool.
I think the noises are kind of relaxing, and they just the nature.
Except for the
sounds.
Siren in the background right now. You probably hear that, but whatever.
For the most part, the birds and stuff, I don't know. Personally, I would like to listen to something like that. So for this show, like we did yesterday, we're going to do reviews of not only pay-per-views and events, but we're also going to review the weekly Monday Night Raws and SmackDown, which will be moving to Fridays soon. We also, B and I are still deciding, and Jimmy, because he's not as dedicated to watching NXT. But yeah, we're still trying to figure out if we are going to review NXT or not. We might not, but we'll see how it goes. We're also going to do...
Well, let's see how, that also depends on the audience. As our audience grows, we'll do more.
If you guys want us to review NXT, let us know, and we'll do it.
Yeah, besides reviews, we'll also make prediction episodes where we all run over... We've actually been doing this for a while before the podcast. We have a running total of who does the best and who picks the best predictions for each pay-per-view. So we'll do episodes talking about who we predict to win at certain pay-per-views, and other than that, we'll do probably some fun episodes like some top 5 and top 10 lists, and pretty much anything wrestling related that we can come up with.
Yeah, we'll do that. So we'll have dedicated weekly shows, and then some pop-in shows like this one. This one is a good example of, we're not going to really review any shows or do any predictions. This is kind of we'll call a pop-in show maybe.
Yeah.
And we'll just talk about something different related to wrestling, of course, because this is a wrestling podcast. And so just look, we'll definitely post what we're talking about and when we do it. We've got our social media director Kyle here who will be handling that for us, and he's done a bang up job. And you will see some humor too. One of the things about us is there's a lot of banter between us. We know probably the first few episodes where we may come off a little dry. It's because we're getting used to it, but once we start going at it and going back and forth and having some healthy debates, the entertainment factor will rise.
And also, yesterday I made an Instagram and a Twitter, and I will link both of them in the description if you guys want to go follow it or check it out. We'll be posting updates on when we're going to post our shows, and yeah.
So I think that might be everything for the background information, unless you guys can think of anything else.
So we do record this from our phone. So if the audio is not that good, we apologize about that. As you can hear right now, there's a car going by, but that's just because we're outside. Maybe we can upgrade our audio in the future if we get
for success. We'll
consider it.
Yep. But I think it sounded
good.
Yeah.
I think we sounded all better than we all thought we would for our first episode.
Exactly.
Okay, so if we think we're through with background information, we just wanted to talk a little bit of wrestling. So the first thing we came up with was we're all going to discuss our current favorite wrestler and why they're our current favorite. So, B, you want to start?
Sure. So my current favorite wrestler or wrestlers is...
And by the way, we haven't told each other until now, so if we come up with the same favorite wrestler, this will be interesting.
The Undisputed Era or Adam Cole.
Is it a wrestler or is it a faction?
Well, I like Adam Cole, but...
Okay.
If you had to pick Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Okay.
25% of the reason is because he's in the Undisputed Era.
Okay.
I love his theme song. I love his character. I love his moveset. Just everything is just good about him. I love that he's hopefully not going to be on the main roster soon because some would consider it a demotion.
Ooh.
But
there's been talk that the main roster has had a close eye on him lately. So
and also Shayna Baszler too.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he gets called up soon and he has to relinquish the NXT title, it's going to be a sad situation.
It's inevitable that he will be on the main roster.
I just hope it's with.
Let's hope that the main roster gets. The audience should know, and we know that main roster performance weekly on TV has not been that good from a creative perspective. So let's hope that they're thinking about that and they're working on it. And when they call up some of these new NXT talents, they are handled differently than what we've seen recently. EC3.
And let's not even get to the fact that Michael Cole has the same last name as Adam Cole.
Yeah, we've had a little thing going on with us. Like, they would do something that corny, that there was some relation between the Coles, which would be a complete
Jason
disaster.
Jordan and Kurt Angle, they didn't even have the same last
Right.
name, and they just had to do a storyline
Right.
like that.
All right. So for me, my current favorite wrestler is Aleister Black.
Wrestler.
I knew it.
I mentioned him yesterday.
No, that's good.
Because I want to see him. I would like to see him face the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
You said that.
Yeah. So Aleister Black. The reason I like Aleister Black so much is because I think he is probably he has one of the most unique movesets right now. He combines high flying stuff with grappling and technical stuff, and I think the way he moves in the ring and how smooth he is with executing a lot of his offense is just, I think it's unmatched from a lot of people on the main roster and NXT even. Some guys on NXT I don't think can even hang with him still, so I just wish that he was on TV wrestling a little more. I think his theme song is great. The way he presents himself is great. Just his aura and the atmosphere when he makes his entrance. I love it all. And I hope his future is brighter than it seems right now because the last time he wrestled is like 2 months ago. So I don't know why.
Well, it's interesting how
Creek.
when they first came up with, him and Ricochet came up as a tag team, and I thought they were great together, but we all knew that the tag team wasn't going to last, right? So
yeah.
they ended the tag team thing, and then Ricochet has been done pretty well so far, and they've been really doing video packages with Aleister Black just about every week since then. I think they're at the overkill point now with that because we already know who he is. He's someone that I didn't think really needed a video package set
Yeah,
before he really got going. So it's kind of weird. Again, that's another thing with the whole creative piece. Some people I think should have gotten some video stuff before they came up, some more introduction. I think they're doing an overkill. I do agree. He's a great talent.
all right. Sorry, guys. There was a lot of loud yelling outside, so we're just gonna wrap it up about Aleister Black. Like we were saying, we all think he has everything it takes to be a big star on the main roster. We all hope his future is bright, and hopefully he's back in the ring soon and not sitting in a dark closet.
And hopefully they take away that stupid thing from his entrance too. The creak
What
as he
thing?
rises up.
Oh no,
That's just
they won't. But it's unnecessary. But
it's corny.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
it's a little added to the main roster, just like Ricochet's little Ricochet sound, because we don't know he's Ricochet without the sound before he comes out too. So there's a little added things that honestly those aggravate the crap out of me because they're unnecessary. But
It's because they take the fans for granted. Like we don't know.
yeah,
Like a Ricochet, they have to add a ricocheting noise. The fans aren't stupid.
and you don't know Aleister Black's rising on something. You need the creak to let you know that he's rising on it. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but other than the few questionable decisions with his character, I still think he'll be successful on the main roster.
He's an amazing talent.
And okay, Jimmy, stage
All right.
is yours.
So guys, these two gentlemen are going to give me crap here because I'm going to give you my guy. And the reason why, and by the way, it could have been a guy or a girl. We're favorite talent, right?
Yeah.
Mine's not a girl, but I'm just saying it could have been a guy. We will talk about the women, but the women didn't wrestle in Jeddah, so we didn't talk about them yesterday. So I look at everything when I pick who mine is, from in-ring performance, from if they're a face or a heel and the reactions to that, how they are with their promo skills and mic skills, and overall what the future holds for them. So my guy, and I think B's going to jump all over it, is Baron Corbin.
I was wrong.
Okay, who would you think?
I thought you were gonna say Daniel Bryan.
No,
'Cause
it's
how
Baron.
much is over with the crowd.
It's Baron Corbin, and some people may not agree with that, and I hear a lot of people that think he's no good, but Baron Corbin is a heel, and he acts like a heel. His reactions from the fans are of a heel. He gets reactions. He gets booed. He gets the reception that as a top heel, and I'll call him a top heel on the roster, he needs. His promo skills have been getting better and better. I know at the beginning he sounded a little scripted. Now he's really sounding good to me. He's a great wrestler. He's a big guy, right? He's like 6'8". He's a big guy, and he moves around fast. Some of his moves are very unique. His deep six is a great move. His finisher. I mean, at the end of the day, that's probably one of the best finishers in wrestling.
Very well protected too.
Yeah, very well protected finisher. I have not seen very many people or anyone kick out of that. So continue to push him correctly. He is a future world champion if they do the right thing with him. If they keep him in a feud with Seth Rollins for a while and then bow him out, I still think he'll be back for a title run, a major title run at some point. So that's my guy. I've liked Baron Corbin since he was in NXT. I said he had a presence about him. I thought he would do well on the main roster, and so far he has. There's just those guys with the presence, and I would put Aleister Black in that same category where if you it's kind of hard to screw up, but if they can find a way, they will. Hopefully they won't find a way with either of these two guys.
So I just want to ask you if you can pinpoint the one thing that's holding Baron Corbin back right now, what would it be?
So I don't know, someone writing the stories. You mean from his own perspective? I think he's got all the tools. I think he's just the way he's introduced, right? And wherever he is, he's the favorite son, and
A lot of the time too, if you look at when he had the briefcase, the timing of when he gets pushes and stuff, like Rollins just won the title,
Yeah.
and he's only defended it twice now since then. So I don't think that Rollins would be ready to lose it yet. And the whole thing that they were doing with Mahal and Cena and Corbin getting rolled up for the briefcase, I just don't think that the timing was right.
Yeah, Corbin is someone that definitely has longevity And it's all about character evolution as well. And he's evolved over time already, right? When he was the assistant general manager, he put on that stupid outfit, and he's kind of modified it a little bit, and he's still wearing it, and we're all hoping for a wardrobe fix for him. And I'm sure that'll happen over time. But I think he's had the type of character that has evolved over time so far, unlike someone like a Braun Strowman, who just has not evolved creatively.
Yeah.
So I think, Baron Corbin, having all the tools and the talent and the ability to adapt, has a great future ahead of him.
Yeah, well, you actually touched on it. I was going to say the one thing holding him back is his ring attire right now. I just can't see him as a world champion wearing what he's wearing right now, because he looks like a waiter at a TGI Fridays.
I would agree.
I wouldn't say that's his fault, though. I'm sure he doesn't like wearing it either, especially when he wore it in Saudi Arabia in 104-degree heat. There
was a live event a few weeks ago that he actually changed his attire, and he was just wearing normal wrestling pants and a t-shirt, like his own t-shirt. And he got in like a Twitter war with a news network and talking about how he won't drop the attire soon. So I don't know what that was all about, but he's got to drop the attire soon.
If he just wore what he used to wear, pants and no shirt, and maybe if he had a few more tattoos, I think he would look fine. But we'll see if he changes it.
Now, another question just for fun, being unbiased here too. If if these guys had a triple threat match, who do you think would win?
It's a good question. The timing is everything. It depends on depends on who they're pushing, but based on pure talent and athleticism.
Well, think about this right now. If they had one tonight.
Yep.
At the current state they're in right now with their push, who do you think?
I think Corbin would win based on where they are right now, because Corbin's challenging for the Universal Championship. But if you were to take your the skill sets and the wrestling ability, then I would probably pick Aleister Black.
I would have said Adam Cole, just because he is the NXT champion right now. But I don't think if it was the match under the supervision of the main roster, then I would probably say Baron Corbin would win.
That's kind of what I was going by.
Yeah, I would say Baron Corbin right now would probably get a cheap win over one of them.
Which is what a good heel does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's about it for this episode. We went over our background information. We got a little bit of wrestling talk out of the way.
Yeah, we might have some shorter episodes, guys, unless you guys have any surprise topics you want to bring up, any walk-ons, any surprise appearances, any special guests. I think we're good.
No, and if you guys want to see any more questions answered like this, you can ask us in the comments. You can tweet us. You can DM us on Instagram.
Maybe if we start getting questions, we'll dedicate a section to each episode to answering a few questions that are submitted to us.
Yeah,
that'd be a great idea.
Sounds good.
All right.
I just wanted to say one last thing. I think so. When we reviewed Super Showdown, we were just going based off what we watched. We didn't make any notes or anything. From here on out, I think we all agreed when we watch Raw and SmackDown, we're going to maybe make a few notes here and there and touch on some points that we agree or disagree with. So I think we'll be able to go a little more in depth from here on out and dive into specifics a little more, because the intro episode was just based off our general thoughts. So I think the episodes from here on out will be a little bit more in depth. I don't know if you guys agree.
I completely agree. And I think we're going to do a episode on Tuesday reviewing Monday Night's Raw. We agreed that we were going to do an episode dedicated to each show, and then decide from there how we address other shows going forward, depending how everything works out in the future. So with that, guys, everyone who is listening, thank you for listening, and we will be back on Tuesday.